I left for Israel on January 1st. I've been back since.
That's ridiculous.
You said Naval was in Israel?
Yeah, I saw her.
No, but beyond that.
Sella.
Sella. Was she doing a semester?
She's there now. Well, she's home. She's there and home. She's currently in America for the Pesach, but she is going back next week. She's there. She came home for Pesach.
What is she doing an internship or?
It's a program that has internship too. She's doing an internship in tourism, which is kind of cute. You know, I'm so jealous.
That sounds fun.
It's like this high-brow, luxury touring that they do, or something like that. Hey, so we're not using that. So, Noah, Etodim, you familiar with it?
I'm not. I listened to the video, I didn't know it.
Etodim kala, I think it's E. A minor, D minor. Dodim kala, boi legani. Dodim kala, boi legani. Parcha ha'gefen.
It's in a different key.
Okay. So would you just want to capo it up one notch or something like that? Etodim kala boi legani. Etodim kala boi legani. Parcha ha'gefen hanetzu harimonim. Parcha ha'gefen hanetzu harimonim. Etodim kala boi legani. Etodim kala boi legani. Parcha ha'gefen hanetzu harimonim. Parcha ha'gefen hanetzu harimonim. I was just trying to come up with a bunch of songs.
Sure. Yeah.
That's why I put it in.
The Etodim that I know we did in Nashira is the Debbie Friedman one.
How's it go? Never heard of it.
Etodim kala,
Sounds beautiful.
You don't remember us singing that?
I've never sang it. Never heard it before. With Nashira? See, this is the one that I know is, you could sing that one, go solo on that, which is fine. This is the one that,
This is one you sent me.
yeah, well not exactly. Because this is, how do I get this? Do you know Big BJ's music?
No.
Oh my God, it's so good. B'nai Jeshurun from New York. Great stuff. But if you want to go solo on the Etodim, it's perfectly fine with me.
This is fine.
Yeah,
New melody is not the worst thing.
Good.
I enjoy it.
We haven't done it in a while.
So we have to decide. You have a
Let's
preference?
do the one you planned.
Okay, fine. Do the one up front. So candles, Kiddush, easy. Dodi Lee, easy, right? Dodi Lee.
Yeah.
And then. And then I thought for Micha Mocha. Micha Mocha. Wait, let's see. Micha Mocha ba'elin Adonai. Micha Mocha nedar bakol. Tehilot. Oseh. Lenora. Tehilot. Oseh. Malchutecha ra'uvancha bokea. You get the point. Yam ze'eli anu v'anu v'amru Eli anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va. You
I
get the
just learned that melody like last week.
Avadim
Avadim
Hayinu.
Hayinu.
You never knew that
I
song.
never knew it.
You were
Now I know.
deprived during your childhood. Let's see. I don't remember this, but you're going to do that one, right?
Let there be love.
Oh, right. Understanding among
Peace and friendship.
be our shelter from life's storm. What's that?
Soul things.
God, right. And then
Oh, this Baruch Hu,
I think
Yes.
la 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 ya la la. Fine, I remember that. Dave, that's a cool. And so Yihiyu and Ose Shalom. Yihiyu leratzon Yihi refi Bilefanecha Adonai Turi Go'ali Ose Shalom Bihimromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'achol Yisrael V'imru Amen. And then I think you're familiar with Kumilach by? Rahayati Yahafati Kumilach.
That's the correct line number, right? That's what you do.
Rahayati Yahafati Kumilach. Hastav avar Hageshem halaf halach lo Hine hastav avar Geshem halaf halach lo. Yes, I do. It's perfect. It works well. Yahafatikum. How does it? When you do on the Siegel Baruch Hu, it goes. Oh, what's the transition between Baruch Hu et Adonai? Adonai Hamivorah. Wait, hold on. That's what I'm trying to say. What did he just do right there? When et Adonai Hamivorah. A minor with G, A minor with F, A minor.
Walk down to G,
Right.
walk down to F.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I can do during the verse too. It's not just the transition.
Do it one more time. Do the walk down. I'm learning. I now play everything all day long. Hold on, your tie needs to be fixed. Excuse me.
So since the last time I saw you, I got to lead services at the Cotel. You heard about that?
No.
You didn't hear about that?
Was that for birthright, you mean?
Yeah, we're birthright. I was on birthright.
Wow.
I got to lead services at the Cotel.
How was it? Cool.
And
Was it in the
the Arch.
Robinson's Arch?
Yeah. Really, really beautiful service. It was really nice.
In the Reformed Conservative place.
The egalitarian section, yeah.
Great.
It was lovely, and before services we got to see the Cotel, the actual Cotel at Kabbalat Shabbat. You know, there's all the girls on gap year programs dancing in circles, and
beautiful.
All these Hasidic guys.
Beautiful.
And, you know, just mosh pitting, and it's
well, look,
just
you know,
a sight to behold.
right. I mean, there's something very beautiful about it. Mm-hmm. Also, something very frustrating about it, but.
And the other week, was it last week? Yeah, last week, I had the opportunity to be part of leading a Reconstructionist service.
What was the difference?
Different siddur, different melodies.
Different
same-
melodies.
Yeah, different melodies. Same basic vibe, you know, guitar and the whole thing. But like, we did more prayers. There was more chanting. But also the blessings themselves were more progressive, liturgically speaking.
Ruach Adonai or whatever. So, what did they do they have musicians which are like more Reconstruction musicians, like that have, you know, melodies?
There's some people that are super like hippie vibes. Like there's a woman based out of Philadelphia named Allie Halpert. She had some beautiful music. What else? There's and also I guess there's just melodies that aren't inherently Reconstructionist, but they just happen to take root in those communities and they talk to each other. There's a really pretty song on 50 I had to learn for the service. How's it go?
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Oh, we used to do that. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
It's a pretty one.
Andrea Markowitz used to do that.
Did she?
Hallelujah, El Bikocho, hallelujah, Birkia Uzo, hallelujah, Betofu Machol, hallelujah, Bemini Ugav, hallelujah. That's a beautiful one.
What is another one I had to learn?
All right, I remember Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha, Micha Mocha Ba'eli Adonai. You know who the composers are of this?
I do. I have been written down.
Send me your cue sheet from that service. I'd love to hear it, to see it.
You know, we were also chanting Shofenad, Maharo, Bekadosh, Shemo.
That's traditional. Rananu tzadikim baranai, la yisharim navat tehila.
So what happened, how I got to that point, was there's not regular Reconstructionist services at Brandeis, but there are a couple people who approached me. One person in particular, it was a first year, who says that I'd love to be able to like share the songs and tradition I grew up with the community. And it was like
I don't think they're inherently Reconstructionist, that stuff. I just think that guy had some of these that he remembers singing at his shul. But I remember singing those in other places.
We had more Reconstructionist elements to the service, in terms of talking about different ideas of God, but also just like community things that
I hear
a
you.
little more in the spiritual line of things.
No, I think it's beautiful. I really like to send me that kushi. I'd love to see it.
Certainly will. So I'm hoping to make that happen for her. And I found somebody else who was also a reconstructionist, actually from New Paltz, same as my mom, funnily enough. And it was fun.
Wow. Hi. Yeah.
All right. You got Tom on the beamer?
I see it. All right, let me just welcome everybody and tell them Hi, everybody. Welcome and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
You can hear a little rasp in my voice. Do not worry. COVID-free. Just, I don't know if it's allergies or a cold or something, but I'm good. I'm all good. Nonetheless, welcome. Shabbat Shalom, and we're on page, no page. We're on the inside cover of the booklet that you have, right here at the bottom. It's Et Dodim Kala. So that word, it's missing an A at the end. It's a typo, my fault. Et Dodim Kala Boi Ligani. You know, my beloved, my bride, come to my garden. The pomegranates and the flowers, they're sprouting. It's the season of rebirth and spring. This is the words and music of Pesach. Et Todim is how we start our service, inside cover. Et Todim kala boi legani. Et Todim kala boi legani. Bacha hagefen hanetzu harimoni. Bacha hagefen hanetzu harimoni. Et Dodim kala boi legani. Et Dodim kala boi legani. Bacha hagefen hanetzu harimoni. Bacha hagefen hanetzu harimoni. One last time that. Et Dodim kala boi legani. Slow it. Et Dodim kala boi legani. Well, you can probably tell from the very skillful guitar playing that's happening here on the bima that guitar playing is not happening by me, but rather by someone who is skilled. And that is Noah, of course. Noah, back from college.
Back from college.
Joe College. Look at him, right? I mean, you can see like Go Brandeis. What is the mascot for Brandeis?
The judges.
The judges. Oh, it's Louis Brandeis.
Yes.
The greatest jurist our people has ever put out, except for some people in this congregation. So maybe like the the third or fourth best jurist our people's ever put out. Nonetheless, he doesn't have a sandwich named after him at Chicken Ruth's Deli, that's for sure. What I could say is welcome. I know that this is what's called Chol HaMoed Pesach, and which means it's the intermediary days of Passover. Those days, the first day and the last day of Passover, are especially holy. But those days in between they're holy just because they're part of Passover, but they don't fall into the same category that a Chag, a holy day, has. So for example, on Shabbat, or on the first day or the last day of Passover, you can't do all of the Shabbat things that you can't do. But in the middle, you can do anything, except you still have to eat matzah and no chametz, but you get the point. And so we will be throughout the service, peppering our service with elements from Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But nonetheless, welcome to you. I'm so glad you're here. Noah, thank you to everyone who is here from our congregation. Welcome, I know, to many of you who are watching on stream. You see, I get word from people. You know, they say, oh, I'm going to be watching you on stream tonight. I'm going to be watching. And then I get to double check because we have record of all the people, including, it doesn't say, we also know how long they watched for. But it doesn't say, you know, it can't tell you if they were paying attention while they had it on, you know, or if they were like.
That's the next feature.
Right. It doesn't say, oh, they walked away, but rather, or they had the baseball game on in the background. It just simply says, this computer was on for this amount of time. So we're going to be watching, following along. Everyone better be paying attention. Our service continues with the lighting of the Shabbat candles, page 120.
Adonai Einu melech haolam Asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav Tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shammah.
All right, and next, Kiddush. 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Karon למעשה בראשית, הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר לציית מצרים, כי באנו בחרת, נו קידשת מכהנים, שבת קודשך באהבה רצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים אמן. All right, so we continue with Song of Songs. This is Dodi Lee. You can find it on page 129. Dodi Lee ואני לא הרואה בשושנים.
דודי לי ואני לא
הרואה בשושנים. מי זאת עולה מן המדבר, מי זאת עולה מכותרת מור, מור ולבונה, מור ולבונה. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. ליבתיני אחותי חלה, ליבתיני חלה, ליבתיני אחותי חלה, ליבתיני חלה. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. וצפון ובא
בשושנים דודי לי ואני לא הרואה בשושנים. All right, so an old camp version, at least for me, I call it a camp version of the Baruch Hu. Our call to worship, it can be found on page 146, and we'd like to invite you to please rise. Ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 Marichu et Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Leolam to whom our praise is due. Praise Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Praise Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Now and forever. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la ya la la, ya la 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 la. So on 149 at the top of the page, please join me. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Page 152, this is Shema. Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Shem kevod malchuto leolam va'ed. Please be seated. This is 154 of V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta baham v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shochmecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam amzuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, vitem kedoshim leloechem, ahani Adonai Eloechem, Asher hotzeiti erchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 159, join me in the English. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content. For soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of... It is a custom that you... Micha Mocha has more melodies than you can possibly imagine. And the reason why is because that's the part of the service which you're supposed to make the song, the words of Micha Mocha fit into a tune of the season. So I have a feeling you're going to be able to pick up on this version of Micha Mocha very quickly. So Micha Mocha, page 158. Micha Mocha ba'elai, Micha Mocha nedar ba'kodesh, Norah teilot, Oseh feleh, Norah teilot, Oseh feleh, Malech Ra'u v'Mincha, Bokei Yam Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'eli Amru, Ze'eli Anu ve'amru, Adonai Yimloch le'olam va'ed. All right. Did anyone get it? That was Avadim Hayinu. I'm sure you all got it. Maybe you were able to, you knew the sound, but you couldn't picture what the other words were. Well, Avadim Hayinu. For those of you who knew it, give yourself 5 points. We'll be tallying up all the points to discover
Counts toward the participation points on Zoom.
That's right. So our service continues now with on page 161. So this is a creative translation of Hashkivenu. It's called "Let There Be Love," written by a guy by the name of Noah Aronson, who is the same person who wrote the song that you know, yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da, yada-da. Yeah, that one. You're very skilled. So he also wrote this song. It's called "Let There Be Love."
You say page 161?
Page 161.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Sing that again. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. One more. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. So we're on 164 now. This is the tefillah. It begins with Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, and we invite you to please rise.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Anorah El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Koneh Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, לחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please be seated. 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Our evening prayer for peace, we call it Shalom Rav 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך ישים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך
ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום. All right. So we have this opportunity now to share joys and to also share to some degree any of the struggles that we've been feeling. But first we begin with joy, and it is always special because it's times like this and seasons like this of, Pesach, when you have seen family members more perhaps than typical, and so there's an opportunity to share some of the joy you've been feeling at this season of joy. Pesach is definitely a season of joy. So if you've had joy recently, just raise your hand, tell me about it, and if you speak loudly, maybe you'll get picked up by the microphone. Go ahead. Karen.
Thursday was a fantastic Elders Day.
Mm-hmm.
Came home and got to enjoy a Seder with horses
Nice.
and some other things.
I'm so glad to hear. Esteemed Elders Day followed by a Seder. Beautiful. Mazel tov. More joy. Yes, Miranda. I think you said Mommy and Kaylin, you went to Hershey Park. Okay, so just out of curiosity, was it, were you on roller coasters?
Yes, and it gave me a heart.
It gave you a heart attack. Metaphorically. Wow. Any ones with loops? No. That's right. That takes a new level of courage. Well, I'm so glad you had fun at Hershey Park. I love Hershey Park. You know my favorite part about Hershey Park is? The Hershey stuff. You know what I mean?
Chocolate.
The chocolate. Love that. Yeah, getting a little older. Any other joy here? Yeah. Spring has sprung. That is exactly right. No doubt that's a reason for joy. Although spring has sprung, it comes with, spring has placed on your cars about a quarter of an inch of yellow, whatever that is, which is nauseating. So with springing comes allergies flaring. Yes. Purple martins are back. Oh. Those are two real reasons for joy, no doubt about it. The second one even more. Beautiful. Mazel tov.
This pales by comparison. But Father's yard site, and I was opening game in Baltimore. Same thing.
See, now we're talking. And which was today, right?
Yeah.
And they won. And they won, right? It was supposed to be yesterday, but it ended up being today. And they won.
And then we had Rachel's two kids for a night, and Courtney's family for 6 nights. And the good thing is they left.
Yep, that's how it usually goes. It's sweet at the beginning. And then after a little while, you're like, when you're leaving. Yes. Wow. So maybe Louis Brandeis would be the 4th or 5th best Jewish legal mind. we've ever seen. Hey, Chelsea, that's amazing. Congratulations. Anybody else want to share joy? Yeah.
I've been slowly working on my dissertation. Hopefully in the next month I'll be able to actually.
So what's the subject?
Sorry, I didn't figure out a short way of explaining it. Basically, what I'm looking at is coming out in folks who experience sexual and romantic attraction differently.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
That's the way I look at it.
No, I'm just thinking it through, like, and trying to understand it a little bit better. But I'm afraid that I would kind of like ask so many questions that it would push it a little too long.
This is in terms of anthropology, sociology, psychology.
It's going to be a doctorate in counselor education.
Counselor education.
So it's coming out when and the different ways that different people come out.
Mostly it's just finding out what their experiences are right now.
I see.
And maybe if or somebody continues the research.
Wow, it's really powerful and needy, and we're definitely in need of it. Thank you. More joy in the room? Yeah.
We have the joy of having our daughter who used to sing with Noah
That's right.
when they were very young.
Yeah.
Really
That was when Noah was just singing up there and not with guitar in hand, that's for sure. I'm so glad that happened. Other joy? All right. I got other joy. Do you have more? Oh, Tom.
A friend of mine from elementary school, whom I have kept up this whole time, had a play that he wrote that was performed, and still is being performed in Washington, D.C. Van Butler, and I went and saw it, and it was terrific, and it was a great source of joy to see his accomplishment.
Yeah, I can tell, for sure. Mazel tov. Yeah, so, and my joy, of course, is that I've got, we've got 4 children, 3 of whom have been in America over the last few months. But for the last few days, a 4th one is in America and will be for the next week or so. My daughter Sella, who is studying, in a program in Israel for the spring. She came back for Passover, and we're so happy to have her back. And then we have to say goodbye and push the door back over to Israel again, but only for another month or so. But nonetheless, we're really glad to have her. All right, Baruch atah Adonai gomel chasadim tovim. We praise you, Adonai, our God, for partnering with us in the many elements of joy that are in our life. Amen. Along with the joy, of course, is a recognition that loved ones of ours are struggling. Perhaps we ourselves are the ones who are struggling. We have a blessing we say. It's called Misha Berach. And the way that it works is that I will share the beginning of this blessing, and then halfway through I'll give you a chance to add a name, if you'd like, for our prayer for healing. And you can say your own name, or you can say someone else's name, and you can say a name in Hebrew or in English. It doesn't matter. But if you have someone you're thinking about in need of healing and want to include them in this prayer, we want you to do so. And so the blessing begins this way. Mishaberach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. Those words mean, may the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. Hu yivarech v'yiraped kol hacholim shelanu. May God bless and heal all of our loved ones who are in need of healing, especially the ones whom we name at this time. And so when my eye meets yours, if you'd like to say a name of someone in need of healing, please feel free to do so. Wow, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Added to these names, I'd like to also include and share Eric Harris, Laura McDaniel, Mark Koppelman, Rich Harrison still, Mika Rom, Melech Eliezer Ben Yosef, and Beth Smith. Vishlach lehem bimheira refuah shlema. May God send them speedily a complete recovery. Refuat nefesh for refuat guf, a healing of body and a healing of spirit. B'toch sha'ar cholei Yisrael, amongst all who are in need of healing. V'nomar amen. And let us say amen. So 371, you find the words to Misha Berach. Please feel free to join us.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. With refuah shlema, renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us sing, Amen.
We pause now for a moment of silence.
We resume on page 180.
Shalom Bimroma Yase Shalom Aleinu
Kol Yisrael Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel
Ve'yimeru
Amen. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
So, by far, Pesach, Passover, is the most observed Jewish holiday. By far. People say, oh, what about Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur? Not even close. Not even close. Pesach. That even for those who might see themselves as skipping Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur for whatever reason, rarely do you skip the Seder. Kind of ingrained. Now, I'm not talking about services. I'm not talking about coming to like the festival service. That is not one of the most well attended or observed days. However, a Seder, for sure, in some measure or another, for sure. It is. It's the gold standard for Jewish tradition, more than Hanukkah, too. And it's perhaps because of the fact that it has a part of it so many of our keenest and most poignant memories as early as a child. You probably don't remember necessarily what it was like when you were 12 years old going to services for the high holidays. You might a little bit. Or counting the light bulbs, right? I know. But the Seder, you remember dreading it, you remember loving it, you remember drinking wine for the first time, you remember sipping other people's wine, you remember like the disgusting food or the particularly delicious food, the cake that doesn't taste like cake, the cake that kind of tastes like cake, the cake which is, oh my God, this is kosher for Passover, I can't believe it. All of these things are part of the memories of Passover. It's so rich and so poignant and so powerful. And interesting that depending on who you ask, the holiday and its significance or its symbols, or symbolism rather, are different, again, depending on who you ask. So if you were to ask the Torah, the Torah, like the Torah walked up and said, yeah, hey, Mr. Torah, what is the holiday of Passover about? The Torah would plainly tell you that it's the holiday of matzah, the feast, the celebration of matzah. If you were to ask the rabbis, they would say, no, the matzah, it's the festival of liberation from Egypt. If you were to ask Jeroboam, first king of the northern kingdom after the kingdom divided, after Solomon, the kingdom divided into two, northern and southern kingdom, and Jeroboam and Rehoboam were the two kings. If you were to ask Jeroboam what Pesach was about, he would say, it's the festival of spring and of water and of the rebirth of crops. And he's in the Bible, by the way. And so those are but three of even more of the different explanations about what this holiday of Passover is about. And that's perhaps why all of our pilgrimage festivals have both a theological and an agricultural significance to them. But and Pesach, by the way, has two books. that are linked completely with it, right? So one book, everybody knows, the Haggadah, the telling of our story, placing ourselves in the shoes of our ancestors who left Egypt, and making sure that the liberation from Egypt is as personal for us as we do as we live in the 21st century as it was for them. But there's another book associated with Pesach, and that is the Song of Songs. And as you saw in the service, at least three times, two already and one more to come, singing Song of Songs. So what is Song of Songs? It is a love story, an erotic love story. It's about these two young lovers just lusting for each other. Elements of it are, it's never so graphic that you say, oh my God, I can't believe this is in the Bible. But the metaphor is extraordinary. And when you read it, you're enchanted by it. It's like 50 Shades of Grey, but the Jewish version. But the rabbis were a little uncomfortable with such eroticism in the Bible. And so they said, no, it's not about the love affair of these two young lovers, but rather it's about the love affair between us and God. Our love for God and God's love for us. And that is how the rabbis packaged this book. It's and so interesting, Rabbi Akiva, you've heard of him, really famous rabbi from the first/second century. He said about the Song of Songs, and also he was obsessed with the book of Song of Songs, obsessed, and for a while the early rabbis that were his contemporaries questioned whether Song of Songs, that book, and also the book of Ecclesiastes, which talks about kind of the pointlessness of life and eat, drink, and essentially eat, drink, and be merry, because tomorrow you never know what's going to happen. And so the rabbis, wondered whether either of these two books should be part of the Bible. And Akiva said, these were his words from the Talmud. He says, no day was greater than the day that this book of Song of Songs was given to Israel. And he says that the whole Bible is holy, but Song of Songs is the holy of holies. Obsessed he was. Now, interesting, by the way, that he even refers to the book of Song of Songs as given, like it was like the Torah, like given by God. But point is that he was so enamored with this book. But is it just about two lovers, or God's love of our people and our people's love of God? No. Song of Songs speaks about messages of springtime and rebirth and renewal and growth and life and joy. And these are the central messages of Pesach. No matter if it's one of matzah, in which case the Song of Songs speaks to us because matzah and liberation remind us of God's love for us. Or it's the festival of water and renewal and rebirth. And then, so again, Song of Songs speaks to us on that level too. It has the messages, all of those messages of life and happiness and joy and springtime. All of those messages that, despite the pollen that's sticking to our cars, are present with us today. Passover is a combination of various different celebrations. And I know that, at least in my house, it's Sometimes Passover comes a little, it's a difficult holiday because, we are, and especially my kids are, carbohydrate addicted. And so not having bread to use is a real trauma. And it's a tough 7 days. And by the way, 7 days is Reformed tradition and tradition in Israel. It's an Orthodox tradition in the diaspora to do 8 days of Passover. So just in case you're wondering how long Passover is, look, it's up to you, but I'm telling you, you can break Passover on Wednesday night. Nonetheless, there's a lot of things about this holiday which, for my kids may be a little difficult, but for others are so joyous. I mean, I think for me, Passover I think to myself, Passover, it means that the buds are out. We're outdoors so much more. Nature is in full array. The warmth is coming. I'm a happier person when Passover arrives. And the Song of Songs, it's the melody for that song that I utter as this holiday comes. It reminds us of all of the messages of Pesach and even more. And it's a joyous book to include in our Shabbat service. So Shabbat Shalom, Chag, or Happy Pesach, and please know that we'll be closing our service with yet one more expression from Song of Songs. But for the time being, we continue with Aleinu, which can be found on page 586. And I'd like to invite you to please rise. Thank you. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. So, though this is, as I mentioned, a season of joy for our people, it is also for some, both in this sanctuary now and for others, in which it's indeed a season of joy, but it's bittersweet because it comes along with struggle and sadness and the thought of loss. And the people that we loved and whom we loved that we lost at this season of Pesach. And so I'd like to share some names first of people who have passed away quite recently from our synagogue. And then I'd also like to add those loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. It's the anniversary of their passing. And so I begin with sharing the name Carolyn DeRitter, a loved one of Levon Doucette, Ronald Pinsky, husband of Joan Pinsky, and Ned Hoffman Hiller, sister of Lynn Cohn and aunt of Kathy Plum Greenspan. I also would like to share with you the names of loved ones whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. It is the anniversary of their passing. Remember Gail Pomerantz Hiller, along with Perry Keithley and Galina Osowicki and Ray Rzepka, Harvey Weinman, Lily Altschuler, Ernest Falk, Milton Friend, Blanche Kirshner-Reese, Ruth Stutman, Jacob Goodman, Eli Semach, Jill Blau, Michael Bush, John Jacobs, Clayton Lauber, Edward Saperstein, Rochelle Saperstein, Elaine Stein-Wolf, Julia Feldman, Judy Lucas, Gerald Hofberg, Roland Levinson. And so in gratitude for their lives and linking their names with the rest of our loved ones who have passed away, we remember them now with the words of our mourner's prayer, which is called the Kaddish. It can be found on page 598. And if it's your custom, I invite you to please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedech al Beit Yisrael, ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam ulamei al maya, v'yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudsha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every bereaved heart. Amen. Please be seated. All right, so our service is coming to a conclusion, and again, I thank you so much for being here, and I especially thank you, Noah, for being here.
Such a pleasure, as always.
When I see that email comes to or that text rather comes to my phone that says, hey, guess what, I'm going to be in town. You looking for someone to join you on the beam? My God, I go, I'm so delighted.
The answer is always yes.
The answer is always yes by me. And whenever you're around, you're always like, I'm coming. I'm delighted. So if you want to have an encore presentation of Noah Simon on his guitar, then you're welcome to join us for our festival morning service, which is on Wednesday, the 12th. Remember when I told you that you can break Passover dinner Wednesday night? Well, that's because that whole day is the last day of Pesach, Wednesday. And starting from Tuesday night, but most importantly Wednesday. And if you'd like to come for both the festival morning service, which is just different with different melodies and kind of fun, please come. And also we will be reciting Yizkor for anyone who's passed away in the last year, and of course for anyone who you wish to remember more specifically. Let me also mention a handful of other announcements. The temple is really going to kind of be closed a little bit this week. Not all together, but a lot of things. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, both because of various different other cultural holidays and also because of Pesach. And so just be aware to call before you come to the temple for various different things. Which includes, by the way, my classes on Monday and Tuesday. However, I am teaching a class this Sunday, part one of a two-part series on Spanish jewelry. Part one is the rise of Spanish jewelry. That is, of course, starting from the 8th century and going probably for, 350 years. And then the decline is the next class. If you're interested in learning a little bit about Spanish jewelry, then please join me on Sunday, the 16th. Part two is the following week, the 23rd, Sunday morning, here at the temple. Let's see, what else I want to tell you. There are lots of people come here to the synagogue and they listen to Nashira, the adult choir, and they say, wow, that's beautiful. How do they learn all that stuff? Well, I'll tell you a little secret. they just practice it. They learn a song, they practice it a couple times, and they sound beautiful. And if you feel as if that's something that is within your wheelhouse and you would like to be part of the adult choir, which is called Nashira, there is a piece of paper out in the lobby. It gives you an opportunity just to put your name on it, email and phone number, and someone will be contacting you to tell you how to participate in Nashira. Let me tell you a few other things. Let's see. Yeah, we have a community-wide Yom HaShoah program. That is on Tuesday, April 18th. By the way, everything I tell you, don't worry about like writing down, trying to remember. Everything is in our weekly email. It's in the weekly email. I'm just emphasizing and highlighting some things. Let's see. April 26th is, April 28th is the next family service, if you're interested, with dinner and makela and kids participating, always a lot of fun. Young adult walk and picnic is on April 30th. At Yom HaAtzmaut, we're also observing on April 30th. The annual meeting on May 7th, my God, Men's Club, Crossing Delancey on May 20th. Everything is in the weekly email. I've just wanted to highlight a few things. All right, we are going to conclude with motzi over the matzah, and then kumi lach, which is rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away, and the winter's past and the rains have gone. Like, that's the words of kumi lach, but or what it means. It's again from Song of Songs. And you can find the words to it on the bottom of the page of the booklet. But first, a little bit of matzah motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. All right. So again, we conclude with kumi lach. Yafati kumila, 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 rahayati, yafati kumila. Before you walk out, again, thank you so much to Noah. Also, thank you to Jill Simon for serving as an usher, along with Linda Harrison for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat, which is kosher for Pesach because it's a lot of fruit, no cakes, no cookies, out Passover, kosher Passover cakes, cookies, out in the lobby. Thank you so much for being here. Chag, or happy Pesach and Shabbat Shalom to you all. Thanks again. Nice job, Noah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. To everyone on our stream, welcome. Shabbat Shalom. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. He is so good. I know his stuff. I think he knows mine too. It really is. We barely even talked about any of this. It's like so easy. But he's really, he's quite a man. I don't necessarily think he should, but I think he could. The thing about it is, the question is, he has to really ask himself, is it a love of his? Which it might very well be. And if it is, then he should do it, because it's a love of his. Right. Because for me, it was never a love. For me, it was a job. Right. He loves it. Thank you, yes. Thank you. Right. Because the other thing about it is, and which I think I've told him a number of times, but if I haven't, I need to remind him, which is that being a rabbi or a cantor, it's like this is kind of like the fun in front of people, singing, leading, but there's a lot of bullshit groundwork. True, but there's a lot of it. That's right. That's true. But it's like there are a lot of times in which I say, oh, what am I doing? Right? It's like, right, or for either of us. For either of us, Joe.